everyone, I'm your fave nurse B. I hope you can hear me. I got my air on, I'm driving, kids in the back, but we're gonna get this video going. So before we get into the video, I want to say thank you all. We're at 22K, yay! So I put out like some stuff on my social media, like letting you all know we were really close to 22K, and I asked you all to share my videos and share my channel to build us up to 22, and you all did it, so I appreciate you. Thanks to all the new subscribers and to all my loyal subscribers who have been sharing my content, commenting, liking, and just helping me out. It really helps the channel to grow, so I definitely appreciate you. So today I want to talk about the things that you're not going to learn in nursing school, okay? And the things that really you're not going to learn until you start working. And you'd be surprised by some of this stuff. Now, it might be just because of me, it might be because of the program I was in, but I've seen it too with some new nurses and just talking to people. But let's get right into the video. So the first thing that you're not going to learn until you start working is time management. Now, of course, when you're in nursing school, typically they give you like one, maybe two patients to focus on. You learn their medications, you learn their diagnoses, their issues, everything. Like you learn everything about them, their history, all that good stuff, and you focus on those patients, those one or two patients, right? But when you're in the actual field, like me, I worked in a nursing home as an LPN. When you're in the field, you could have, at least at the nursing home I worked at, we had anywhere from like 20 to 25 patients, sometimes 30, 40, 50, even 60 patients, especially if you work night shift. And then if you work like on the med A floor or the rehab floor, which is way more acute, like you would get admissions coming in and you would have people leaving out, people having like, they would come in and within like that first 24 hours, you got to send them right back to the hospital. There's a lot of issues that can happen on the med A floor. It gets really, really crazy on rehab floors, but on that floor you would probably have anywhere from like 15 to 20 patients. And then in a hospital like the ICU, you can have about 2 patients, but that's still a lot. 2 people, they're ICU patients, or anywhere from like 8 patients. 10 might be kind of heavy in the hospital. Just depends on where you're working and the setting that you're working in. Now you all, I can only tell you based off of my clinical setting working in a nursing home, and then I know a little bit about the hospital because I did I have friends who work in hospitals, and also I did some of my clinicals in the hospital as well, so I do have an idea. Plus, y'all know Nurse B just be knowing some stuff, okay? But please chime in down below in the comment section what your take is, where your setting is, some things that you've seen, if you agree, if you disagree. Keep the dialogue going in the comment section. I'm sorry about the lighting. Like I said, we just drive and we out here. So that's the first thing, time management. It's just gonna be, like I've told you on some videos, sometimes, like in my facility, we didn't even have cell phones. So you would be sitting there waiting for the doctor to call you back if you called out to the doctor. You might have one patient who's looking for pain medicine, one patient who has a tube feeding that's due at the time that you're, you know, got everything going on. You might have another patient who, they light keep going off. You're waiting for your aide to come back on the floor. The daughter's looking at you like, my mom's been running off. I need someone to clean her up. And you're like, hold on, like I'm waiting for the doctor to call. Because if I go in there and start getting your mom together and this doctor calls me and I'm not there to pick it up, we're going to have issues because the doctor's going to be pissed off because I didn't pick up the phone call and I got to call this doctor right back. So it just becomes crazy. And then you got a patient who got that light buzzing and the aide keeps coming to you saying, she got her light on, that's for you, that's for you. You need to come give her this pill. It just can be crazy to try to manage your time. Now in school they do show you like different little things and be like, okay, how would you prioritize it? Would you go to this patient first, or this patient first, or this patient first? Like you would have like little triage, little scenarios. But to actually learn how to manage your time and know who to prioritize and how to basically multitask. I know multitask is like such a don't multitask, but really you have to try to do more than one thing, and you really need to learn how to stagger certain things so that you're not being ran back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it takes time for you to build a rhythm and a routine and know how you should do certain things. I do have a video about time management, but it really comes down to, like I said, starting to work and starting to realize, okay, I know she always asking for this pain pill. I gotta go down here and let me just give her this pain pill, or see if she wants it, give her pain pill. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You have to kind of figure it out, but at the end of the day, it can be crazy. It just is what it is. So that's the first thing, time management. So the second thing is dealing with difficult family members and difficult patients. I didn't learn this in nursing school. Now, it was certain times you would come across certain people that would be like, no, I don't want this, no, I don't want that. But until you start working, you will not realize how annoying people can be. Now, granted, people are not at their best when they're sick. When they're, you know, people are sick, they're scared, they're tired, and they're just in a very vulnerable position to have to wait on you to do things for them, especially if they're in a nursing home, they feel very helpless, or if they're, you know, they're in the hospital, they probably got work that they're thinking about, their kids are thinking about, and they're just like, okay, I need to get out of here. Like, so it can be it's a very, very fragile time in a person's life when they're, you know, need a nurse. So, and people it can bring out the worst in people, you know. And I know people are like, oh, it's their patients, you shouldn't do da-da-da-da, or, you know, they kind of think that nurses have to be saints, and we're not. But you have to learn how to deal with difficult people in difficult families, and not just difficult like, oh, you're sick, you shouldn't be acting this way, you should be grateful I'm helping you. Why are you in my lane, dude? Stay in your lane. Woo, yeah, I got to the city. Yeah, I told y'all I'm not in the city. I'm in the county. I'm in North County, which is like the hood kind of sort. This where Ferguson happened, y'all. And this where I'm close to Ferguson, y'all. Anywho, but anyways, what was I about to say? Okay, so yeah, you don't really know how to deal with certain people in their nuances, I should say. And like I said, I don't want to necessarily say difficult, because it's like you kind of just putting the blame on people who are there to get help. But some people are extremely difficult, and they make it their business to be difficult, disrespectful, and just right out mean towards you as a nurse. Or some people, they're very needy, you know, and it's just like, okay, you don't realize it, but you deal with psych patients all the time. I remember this is another thing to think about. I remember I was in school, and I was in the mental health section of school, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna deal with these people. No matter where you work, I can do a whole video about this, y'all. No matter where you work in the field, you're always gonna have psych patients. Almost everybody is a psych patient, meaning that everyone has some type of mental, psychological, social issue that they're going through, and it's heightened even more when you're in a hospital, a nursing home, some type of clinical setting. And I don't think they necessarily touch on the fact that you think you have mental health patients, and then you have patients that are there purely for medical issues versus, you know, mental health issues. But really, everything is just mixed. Just think about you. You probably got a whole bunch of stuff happening with you, but you keep it tightly bound up within you, you know, not for people to see, you know, things like that, because it's like, oh shoot, did I got my wallet? It's like that part of you don't put out there, but baby, once you get into some type of clinical setting, it can easily come out. You never know how you're gonna act. All right, hold on, I gotta take care of business. All right, sure. So yeah, that's the next thing is dealing with different patients in all their different nuances, I should say, whether it be anger, racism, them cursing at you, being violent towards you or other staff members or each other. Yeah, they don't teach you that. They don't go over that type of stuff in nursing school, unless, at least for me, they didn't. It wasn't until I worked in the field and I saw it for myself, and it is a shock to you, and you're like, wait, I'm not going to be working in these conditions. But I mean, I hate to say it, but that's the name of the game, especially when you work with patients who have mental health issues and patients who have some type of form of like dementia or things, or have some type of dementia, things like that. Then yeah, you're going to be dealing with that. So the next thing that they go over it a little bit, at least for me in my school I went over, they went over a little bit like conflict resolution and dealing with, you know, aides and people who are under you when they have conflicts, and they're like, the conflict isn't about you, it's not about them, it's their issue. You try to help them to work out their issue amongst each other, yada yada yada. You're just there to facilitate or mediate, whatever. They don't go over you dealing with somebody who blatantly just walks right by you. You're like, hey, did you da 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 da, and they just completely walk past you, or they say, yeah, I did, or no, I didn't, and keep on walking. And you're like, okay, so are we gonna do it or no? They don't help you to see how to deal with people like that. especially when you don't have management backing you up. I got a whole video about why nurses and CNAs clash and bump heads, and the biggest issue that we have is that management does not back up the nurses when they discipline someone. Now I know it's gonna be a whole debate in the comment section talking about how nurses ain't this and nurses ain't that, these nurses ain't about nothing. It is what it is, but I've seen it from both sides, and management, they don't back up nurses. They will back up a CNA way before they'll back up a nurse. In my opinion, that's what I've seen, and it's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It is what it is, and it makes it so that nurses, they really can't do effective, you know, disciplining of staff members, because there's no point in me telling you anything when you're gonna go in front of the management and say, oh, well, she did this, she did that, a nurse did this, the nurse did that. And it's like, it's just too much drama. They don't teach you how to deal with the drama, the back talk, the people cursing you out, blatantly curse you out, 2 A's getting into it, cursing each other out in front of family members, and you're like, y'all, like, can we just calm this down and move this somewhere? I know, I'm just saying that, and you're like, okay, you all, like, this is not where we do this at. And of course, you can't send nobody home because you only got 3 or 4 A's working on the floor anyways, and you should really have close to 6 A's working on the floor. So it becomes the issue of, how do you discipline people? They don't show you that in nursing school. They try their best to, but y'all, it's so different when you get out here and start working, especially when you work with people who are unprofessional, who do not care, who have been able to get away with so much for so long, and who they know no matter what they do, they're probably going to outlast you as a nurse. CNAs, they do. They're willing to stay there and deal with the drama, because management, a lot of facilities, they will take and deal with issues with a CNA before they deal with issues with a nurse, because at the end of the day, you need more CNAs than you need nurses. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can have a floor with 1 nurse and 60 patients, but you cannot have a floor with 3 nurses and 1 A and 60 patients. It's not gonna work. You know, so it's just a numbers thing. So they need these A's, and it's so hard to find good help that these men, y'all, anywho, that's the next thing. They make it hard for you. They don't show you how to manage people, how to supervise. They give you some tools that you can try to apply, but if the whole system is not backing you up, it's gonna be very hard for you to come in as a nurse, especially as a new nurse, and try to change some things, try to facilitate something new. You're going to be exhausted, especially because you're still trying to figure out how to be a new nurse. So you're trying to be a new nurse and do what you have to do to keep your license keep your license together intact, on top of you, can I park over here? No parking third Monday, so no. So yeah, on top of you trying to figure out how to supervise people and how to do your job and to not mess up your job, yeah, it's hard. It's very hard as a new nurse to catch on to those 2 things at the same time, especially if management is not backing you up. Now, this is not always the case at all facilities, at all hospitals, but I'm just telling you all from my point of view. I know somebody in the comment, I'm like, no, you wrong, because at this place, okay, I'm telling you from my point of view, okay, and that's all I can do. I'm your fave nurse, big, okay? I can only tell you from my point of view. The next thing, they don't always tell you how to talk to doctors, how to deal with doctors, how to communicate with doctors. And as a student nurse, you don't always come into contact with doctors. And a nurse in general, nurses in general, for some reason, they're very intimidated by MDs. I guess it's just a culture, you know. It used to be whatever the MD says, that's the end of it, all be all, and you know, nurses just have to deal with it. So there's already a culture of nurses being afraid of doctors. I'm trying to find some good lighting, of nurses being afraid of doctors and not necessarily knowing how to talk to them. I've gotten over that. You the doctor, this your job, just like this is my job. Like, we just gonna talk and get it done and keep it pushing. It is what it is, because at the end of the day, I have to do what's best for my patient, and the same for you. So I do have a video about how to talk to MDs, but they don't necessarily go over this in nursing school, which I wish that they would. Like, they would at least do some role playing. Maybe they do. I don't, at least not in my school. I think we did it once, and I was like, okay. So that's that. Talking to doctors, especially doctors, can be very disrespectful. Don't get me wrong. There's some doctors out there that are very helpful, very sweet, loving, like they really care about their patients and they're gonna do whatever it takes. Like they see you as a team member. But then there's some doctors that are very disrespectful. Oh, why did you call me? Da 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 da. You could have did this. Whatever. If I have to keep questioning, oh, I don't know. Da da. Just call the doctor. Just do it. I mean, it sucks. They might be upset, but hey, at least you didn't wait and something happened bad. So that's one thing. Dealing with doctors, communicating with doctors, knowing when to call them and how to call them and what to talk about and how to be prepared. It's something that they don't necessarily go over in nursing school. Thanks for everybody for bearing me with this light. Yeah, I'm just getting this video done. So the next thing is they really don't go over bullying in nursing school. Now, I for one have not had to deal with this. I can't really say I've seen it, but it's a tough thing to deal with, people bullying you and being disrespectful towards you in the field. Yeah, that sucks. They have to go to work and think somebody gonna be dogging you out or something like that. Like, that sucks. I have had some aides, they try to like push their way and be like all intimidating and stuff like that, but honey, it is what it is. Do something. That's one thing they don't talk. They didn't even mention bullying in nursing school, and I feel like the climate that we're working in now, that we're living in, that needs to be part of the curriculum. You know, how to deal with bullying for yourself when you see it, how to report it, especially amongst aides. I've seen it more with CNAs than I've seen it with actual nurses actually bullying. How to deal with that, you know, the rite of passage per se. Some people just feel like you gotta, you know, earn your stripes when it comes to it, and it is what it is. But sometimes it's like it doesn't take all that, you know. But that's the next thing, is bullying. Let me know if you've dealt with that, you know, as a nurse. And then the last thing they don't teach, they go over it, but you're really not gonna deal with it and know how to deal with it until you work in the field. It's ethics. Now we know that unless you're like HIPAA, unless you're taking care of a patient, you're not supposed to look at their chart. So if I took care of Sally last week and today is today and I wanted to check up, I'm taking care of another team that Sally's not on, I can't go back and look at Sally's chart and be like, I wonder what happened after I did da 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 da. You're not that person's nurse anymore. That's against HIPAA. Or if somebody comes to you and asks you about, oh, my mom, da da da, or oh, my sister, I just want to know da 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 da. You cannot tell them anything until you look at the record, see if they're authorized person to talk to, and then you communicate with them. They go over it, but it gets kind of muddy, especially in the nursing homes, because so many people come, you don't know who's who, and you think it's okay, and then the sister's like, why did you tell my sister about my mom? She is not supposed to know anything. Why did you tell her anything? And you're like, oh crap. You know, you can put yourself in a lot of trouble. They emphasize HIPAA, they go over it, but you don't see it until you start working. A lot of ethical issues come up. Like, we had a patient, her son was coming and he was like trying to take her checks from her. And we didn't have no security. We in a nursing home. Ain't no security. It's 24 hours. You can come in here at any time. Your family, you can come in. And he was trying to take her checks. Next thing you know, he pulled her out of the nursing home, forced her to get out of the nursing home so that he would have a place to stay, because I think like she was trying to, she had to sell her property or do something, or something going on where she had to basically not be in the nursing home to keep her house. Something was going on. I was an aide at the time, so I really didn't know the whole, you know, everything that was going on. But he like basically, it was elder abuse. You know, he intimidated her, and we was trying to get him out of the facility that night when he was trying to take her checks and stuff. And it came to the point where aide had to be like, no, you getting up out of here. Like a female aide was like, you gotta go. You know, we didn't have no security, wasn't nobody around, but she was like, you gotta leave. You know, and the resident, this is her son, I don't know if he was on drugs or what. And she was scared, but she was like, no, you know, she was like, you could tell she was scared. And she wanted him to leave, but she was afraid to emphasize that she wanted him to leave because she was scared of him. But it is what it is, y'all. You're not gonna start knowing how to do certain things until you start working in the field. Even when you see certain nurses, you think, okay, this person is stealing medications. Woo, yeah, I can do a video. I'm doing a video about that, about how nurses be stealing. Oh yeah, I got some. Oh, anyways, I don't even know if I can tell y'all the stories, because I'm gonna find a way. Nurse B gonna find a way to get y'all a juicy video. But I think she's stealing pills. Or you can look at the paperwork and be like, this paperwork look real shisty. I don't know, this person might not be giving these pills to this patient. You bring it up to management. Oh, okay. This person's still working there. Do you call state? What do you do? You know, because it can be such very thin lines, and you don't want to disrespect people. You don't want to, you know, sometimes you want to just keep stuff calm. You don't want to cause any waves sometimes, because it's not always, they're not gonna do nothing. I'm telling you, management don't do nothing. At least where I work, y'all tell me, did management do anything at your job? Be honest. Do they? I know there are certain things they have to do to keep the doors open, but when it comes to the day-to-day things, they fall very short. That's why I would not do management. I just cannot see, unless I'm owning it. I ain't managing it, I'm owning it. And I'll hire some other people to manage this, because I'm honey, it's some work to manage a facility. It is. I know it is. And I'm not even gonna sit here and say they're not doing anything, but it's so much to do, you know. It's so much to freaking do, and it's just like they leave it on the nurses to do it, but then when we do certain things, y'all don't back us up. So how the hell you expect me to do anything? So those are the main things they don't teach you in nursing school. You will not notice until you start working in the field. Let me know if you want to add to the list. Should I do a part 2 to this video? Yeah, my throat is dry. Let me know if you like these videos, these type of videos, your requests. Thanks again for watching. I'm burning up. The AC is on, but I'm burning up and my throat is burning. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you go follow us on the YourFavNurseB Facebook group. Also, like this video, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Share my videos. Help me to get, you know, up in subscribers, and just help me to get out there, you know. Feel me, help me out, y'all. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the donations to my PayPal account. Like, it's greatly appreciated. And also I appreciate you all who have been ordering earrings and who follow me on Instagram at YourFavNurseB #1. All right, y'all, peace.